Happy Tuesday, October, what is it? The 19th. Great to see you. Thanks for joining in. I would say to our weekly live, but it's not so weekly, is it? I do apologize. Some of you have gotten out of the rhythm. You're like, hey, where have you been? I missed the dad jokes. My question is, do you really miss the dad jokes? If you do, I've got some really good ones for you today. Thanks for tuning in. So good to see you. We've got a full show today. Since we've only doing it, seems to be doing it once a month. We've got a lot to talk about. I've got a whole sheet here with all kinds of goodies on it to get over, talk about things that have happened, things that are coming, dad jokes, and want to end with just devotional thought to hopefully encourage your heart, something I've been thinking about. It's been speaking to my heart, even just in the last couple days, actually. So with that said, let's jump in with this weekend. Here's where we're going to jump in. Okay, so I'm going to create some tension right out of the gates. This weekend is something I look forward to. It only happens every 8 years. So I'll say that. Some of you know, okay, what every 8 years. It's something that is a big deal in my family. It is something that, anyway, let's just say what it is. You know what it is? You know what happens this weekend? I'll show you what happens this weekend. Right there. What do you think of that? Some of you say, well, Adam, they happen every weekend, and they're hot this year. They're one of the best teams in the NFL. Actually, they're setting records as of right now. But anyway, do you know what this weekend is? That team that you saw is in Philadelphia this weekend. Only happens every 8 years. They come to Philly. Super excited about that. People have asked me, Adam, for those of you who don't know, I'm a Miami Dolphins fan. I've been since I watched Dan Marino in the Super Bowl when I was like 8 years old. Never got back, never seen him win a Super Bowl. I don't know why I'm a fan of it. I mean, because they really haven't been good for the last 25 years. But anyway, I still am a fan. I love their colors. That's what they say. You say, how do you become a fan? I like their colors, right? So sorry. Anyway, they only come to Philly every 8 years. Someone asked me if I'm going to the game. Last time they were in Philly, I went to the game with my boys and my dad, and not going this year. That's because it's number one, I couldn't afford the tickets. Number two, it's at 8:30 at night on Sunday night, and I'm not sure if being in Philly, wearing those colors right there at 8:30 at night is the wisest thing for me to be doing. So anyway, I have a watch party happening at my house. My son's a Dolphins fan. My youngest sister's a Dolphins fan. My dad's an Eagles fan. My two brother-in-laws are Eagles fans. So we're getting together and we're going to watch the game and hope for a good game. Anyway, so that's this weekend. Super fun. I'd ask you who's going to win, but I already know most of you listening right now are Eagles fans. And so I already know the answer, but if you want to put a comment in there, feel free to put it in there. Hoping for a good game. Okay, with that said, that's the fun. Here we go. Let's jump in. That's what's coming this weekend. So anyway, let's look at this a week ago. This event happened. Paint a Pumpkin here at the factory. I'm showing you this picture because the gentleman there in the shirt with the big smile is Gabe McDonald. Gabe just started. He's been here 2 weeks as he is working with the Factory Youth Center. He's on staff now. Some of you know Micah. Remember Micah? Micah moved on to the Lighthouse in Oxford. Super high five to Micah. We miss Micah. And we're also excited to welcome Gabe and stepping into that role. Gabe's role is school and program coordinator with the youth center. So last Friday was Paint a Pumpkin, so he got to join there. That kind of looks funny. Looks like I'll lean this way so you can kind of see me. There's, I believe that's Winnie the Pooh. That's my guess. Does that look like Winnie the Pooh got painted there? I'll show you this picture here too, because I'm not just showing you this because of the Ebeth and just kind of smiling there, but I also want to show you this picture because in the background, do you see that wooden wall that's up there? That below the two banners, there's that nice plywood wall. You're like, man, that's good decor, right? That plywood wall is up because some of you, I had a number of you say, I saw you in a Penny Saver. Yes, you saw me in a Penny Saver. I saw the factory Penny Saver because we're talking about the project that's behind that wall, redoing the bathrooms. The bathrooms have been there since 1927, and they still look like They're from 1927. So I have been asked, and you saw this in the Penny Saver article. If you read that article, I've been asked multiple times, are you keeping the historic, the soapstone, the tile? The answer is yes. We have been able to, with a grant. Super high five. Thank you to the Redevelopment Authority, the Community Development Block Grant that we got, make this happen. We're leaving the soapstone, we're leaving the tile. What we've done is we've overhauled them, fixtures, everything is the same, except we've cleaned the walls up. Some of you remember that if you're ever in a girl's bathroom, you saw the ceiling was falling down, and it's like, I'm afraid to go in here. So anyway, we've kind of overhauled all that. We've done all the walls. We were not able to keep the tile in the walls just because that was cracking and falling apart, and we weren't able to replace that at a reasonable cost. And then we're building brand new ADA bathrooms off to the right. So super excited about that. There'll also be a shower room there. So be able to, so when people are here playing basketball, running around, they can take a shower, and or giving opportunities for those that may, again, we at times journey with individuals living out of their car, or at times don't have access to be able to, and sometimes just a hot shower is needed. So again, we're going to give those opportunities as well. So super excited about that. So that's also coming. Super thing. Okay, another thing that's happening right now is each month we kind of put an emphasis on food that we're looking for. So this month, again, you can like and share this. You can again get your small group, your coworkers, your family, your classmates together and kind of do a little food drive together through the month. And again, bring it on in. So we're right now looking for pancakes, applesauce, tuna, syrup, ramen, and granola bars. Thinking of tuna, I haven't done any dad jokes yet, so this is maybe a good transition to that. Where my daughter works, they make someone ordered a tuna fish sandwich without the tuna recently. So anyway, I thought that was cute. I don't know what they were thinking when they said that, but that always kind of strikes me as it was a cute way when she came home and shared that. With that said, how about a dad joke or two? What do you think? You ready for a good dad joke? Good being the operable word, right? Someone told me the other day that their cell phone accidentally, you ever have this happen? Accidentally took video. Okay, maybe you've had it out where your phone's out and you're recording something, or you're recording. Actually, accidentally took a 5-minute video of their shoes. And he said to me, it was some good footage. There you go. Right? That's a good one. Here's another one for you. I've spent time in France. I had a friend that lived there. My wife and I went over on a missions trip, hung out with them, did some service there in France. But anyway, so when I got there, again, they at times eat things that, the escargot, frog legs, different things like that. So one of the things, got to begin asking, why do the French eat snails? And my host said, because they don't like fast food. Now that is a joke. That is a joke. That didn't really happen. But I will say they don't like fast food. I remember our trip when we were in France. I still never forget this. This was before we had kids. We were probably married. My wife and I don't know, a year, 2, 3, maybe at most. Excuse me. And we went, and then, we were there I have a juvenile palate. We've made jokes about that before. Some of you may know that. And the diet in France was by the end of our time there, I'm like, we were in the middle of a project. We were leaving the next day. I'm like, I want to get this project done. And because they called us to break for dinner. I'm like, I don't want to break for dinner because we got to get this project done. We got to get it done. And I don't want to leave with it unfinished. And the thing I knew is their dinners were like 3 hours long. Like you'd sit down and you'd have the aperitif, which is basically cleansing of the palate, and your bread, and then they drink their wine, and they'd have all these courses. And it was really cool. It was fun because it's this connection time. But I'm like, can we just like, I saw a McDonald's in town. Can we just go down and get McDonald's? So they're like, well, okay. No lie. We sat at McDonald's for 2.5 hours, and they had wine, and they had I was like, what in the world? So anyway, they apparently don't like fast food, at least in the town where I was. Okay, next one. Then we'll get back to some things that are going on. So, you notice on your cell phone right now, you're getting all these notifications for your cookies, and so someone was saying to me the other day, I've cleared my cache of cookies, but then they said, but I'd have no understanding or comprehension how eating 300 Oreos is going to make my computer work any better. Not the same kind of cookies, right? Okay. There'll be more where that comes from. Next thing I want to talk about. Some of you guys have known about Level Up and Launch. Level Up and Launch is we got a grant from United Way, $19,000 to do our workforce advocacy. We're taking Adult Advocate out to Kitchen Kettle, and we're expanding that to go beyond Kitchen Kettle and include other businesses. So United Way is giving us this, and then this grant works. We get $19,000. Then if you give $1, we get another $1. So we get $19,000. If we raise $19,000, we get another $19,000, which all total is $56,000. Super high five. We've been running this campaign. We have let me look at the here. 1.5 or sorry, 1.5. 1,500 is all we have left, and we've hit our match, and we have till the end of October. So $1,500, and we've got our match. Super high five. If you've contributed, if you've been a part of that, I cannot say thank you enough. A huge thank you. Deeply appreciate it. Exciting. If you don't know Mike Lewis, sit down with him sometime, and again, just hear his heart for what he's doing there with businesses in our community. So super, super exciting about that. Okay, with that said, here's the things that are up and coming. Let's talk through some of them. We have the Christmas gift program and the holiday meal. So maybe a couple things. You're someone who's saying, hey, I need food in the holidays, or I don't know how I'm going to afford Christmas. Right now, there's a sign up going around. I'd encourage you to reach out to the factory, call us at the front desk, check us on social media. You'll find information talk to your advocate, talk to Ebeth or Gabe or someone here, get information I can get signed up, because we want to make sure you're getting food in the holidays, and also an opportunity to get how the gift program works is you say, hey, my son or my daughter really wants, and you tell us what they want. We connect you with a donor, or not you, but we connect that with a donor, get that purchased, and then you come in and actually purchase it for $1. So it still feels like this sense of you participated, and then get to wrap that gift and give it to your kids. So if you're engaged in that, I encourage you to reach out, connect with us, and we'll make that happen. Maybe you're listening right now and you're like, I want to be a part of that in serving that and helping meet that resource. So if you're in that position, there are bags here for you to be able to purchase. It's a shopping bag with a list on it where you can come in and purchase what's needed for a holiday meal, as well as there's opportunity for you to connect and purchase gifts for that. So please want to encourage you to reach out with us on that. Next thing I want to mention is bingo. Bingo has changed in its time. It's 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock instead of 3 to 4. I'm sorry. 1 to 3 instead of 2 to 4. And the next bingo takes place on the 26th. Is that next week? Yes, that's next week. So next Thursday, 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock. Bingo is a cool thing. People say, I love when people say, that's really cool. You do bingo. Why do you do it? Well, here's why we do bingo. This is super fun. We look at poverty as, we don't just define poverty as financial. Now that's a lot of times we use the term. That's certainly a key indicator. We look at it as a loss of resources or connection to resources or options to resources. And so we look at those resources as across 6 areas. One of those areas is relational. So what bingo does is bingo brings people together. And again, it's people that may normally not be out and about, gives them a place to come and hang out, connect, laugh together, sit around a table together, eat food together, and connect with people. But also, the cool thing is, I want to share a story with you. This was our last bingo, actually. A local pastor and his wife came, and we're sitting around a table together and playing bingo there. And so a couple cool stories came out of this. I just want to share one of them. And anyway, long story short, fast forward, one of our advocates, our adult advocates, was meeting with a participant, and they were engaging and interacting. And at the end of the appointment, he's like, "Hey, I need the information for that guy that was at bingo there with us." And so, as he's looking at that, he's like, there, and then he says, and he won a lot of prizes too. So they put it together. "Oh, you're looking for the pastor?" He says, "Yeah, because I think I really want to go to his church and try that out." So that was a huge, huge high five for us. Like, I was like, that is so exciting. And just, again, that was a big, big win. About all coming out of bingo, and all because we had that pastor came, that pastor connected. And so, again, huge high five, super exciting about that. So that's bingo. Again, bingo's happening next Thursday, is the next bingo. Okay, next thing, let me think here, look down through here. Gingerbread extravaganza. There will be information coming in that. We're just beginning to talk about it. December 1st. Can you believe we're talking about December already? I'm like, wow, it's almost December. So December 1st, the gingerbread extravaganza, you can sign up. On the back end of that, we're doing the tree lighting again. Shouldn't say we're doing it. We're hosting it for the local churches in this area are going to come together and do kind of that the tradition of holiday tree lighting. That's going to happen following the gingerbread extravaganza. So final thing up and coming, and then I want to close just with a short devotional thought and a few dad jokes. Final thing upcoming, Extra Give is right around the corner. We are 1 month away from Extra Give, the largest giving day in Lancaster County. Last year, I think it was, I forget how many millions of dollars gets given on this day, and the energy that comes around it. We are participating on that day. And so, again, that's going to be a fun day for you to engage and give and magnify and amplify your giving, multiply your giving, et cetera. So one thing I want to say about that, first thing I'll say is, if you maybe right now or own a business or know someone owns a business, we're looking for sponsors, specifically business sponsors that can say, "Hey, I want to sponsor $10,000, and then that money can help multiply and match to encourage other people to give on that day." So it's one thing we're looking for right now. The next thing I'll say is mark in your calendar, because it's a day of giving. And the final thing I'll say is, on that day, we're doing the Factory Food Truck Frenzy. So super excited about this. This is happening on Extra Give in the evening. Now, this is, some of you have come in the past 2 years to the block party, and you say, "Is this the same thing?" It is, but it's not. So it is, but it's not. So here's what's different about it. This year, we have a band again. We have the fire trucks. We have the goats. We have all the fun. We're also going to move inside. It's going to be inside and outside. So there's going to be the ability to get in and out of the elements, come in and eat your meal inside. Last year, remember, it snowed on us and blew like crazy. So we're going to have this opportunity to come inside. The band will be inside. The live music will be inside. It's going to be a brand new band this year. Super excited about that. And the difference with the food, last year you came and we gave away all the chicken barbecue. This year, we have the food trucks. So if you're able to come and purchase food from those food trucks, and then they give a portion of that back to the factory. So super excited about that. There'll be more information coming over the next 4 weeks about that. But right now, mark your calendars. Okay, let me double check. I think I got it all out here. Let me look at my list. I got a long list. Oh, no, I do not. I've run one note here written myself in the corner. This Sunday, I'm going to be at Grace Point Church, the Grace Point Church preaching this Sunday. So if you know where Grace Point Church is, looking for a church to attend, come on out at 10. I think they start at 10:15. I think I'm supposed to be there at 10. I think they start at 10:15. Not 100% sure. Some of you know Tim Rogers. He's the pastor there. I will be preaching there at Grace Point. With that said, let me end with this thought, this devotional thought. So if you're familiar at all with the story of Jesus, maybe if you're not, let me kind of share it. Jesus comes to earth, says he's the Son of God, actually God himself, lives his perfect life, dies a horrendous death. He raises to life again and conquers sin and death. And then he calls people to say, hey, come and follow me, believe in me, trust me, and you will be made new. Right? So that's the message of Jesus. Some will refer to it as the gospel message, the good news. Well, here, something that's really cool about this story that I've been reflecting on here again recently, that story is possible because of someone that we would often define in our current understanding of spirituality as a spiritual misfit or maybe even a spiritual loser, not a spiritual giant. You see what I mean by this? If you think about it, Jesus was buried in a tomb. In that day, when a criminal was taken off a cross, they weren't buried. They were often thrown on a heap of bodies and just left to decompose in the Roman system of how they did it. They weren't worthy of that burial. Unless, of course, you were someone wealthy or significant that you could be taken down, given to the family, and the family would put in a tomb. What's fascinating when you read the scriptures, there's this guy named Joseph of Arimathea is the name of the scripture, who steps forward and says, I will take the body and bury it in my tomb. Buries it in a tomb. 3 days later, they seal the tomb, lock it in. 3 days later, he rises. So if you think about this, if Joseph didn't step forward, we wouldn't have the ability to say Jesus rose from the dead, because his body would have been thrown in a pile with other bodies, and did it get raised, not raised? But the fact that we had him buried in a tomb gave the opportunity for validating and verifying that, yes, in fact, his body was here and it is no longer here. The seal has been broken, etc. So when you think about that, when you come to Joseph of Arimathea, I want to share this because sometimes people think, well, I'm not that spiritual. I'm not a spiritual giant. I'm not real strong. And you go down all the list. Well, Joseph, his contribution is world changing. But when you think about it, here's the way one commentator writes about Joseph. Hold on. Sorry, lost my place. I had it marked here and now it is gone. Okay. So the Gospel of John, it says, John tells us that Joseph was a secret disciple. So he wasn't even bold enough to be like out there. He was a Sadducee, which was a religious leader. He was afraid to, in some sense, if you look at it, to be associated with Jesus. But John tells us that Joseph was a secret disciple and that he laid low because he was afraid of the Jewish leaders. In other words, he feared losing his wealth because he was a rich man, losing his wealth and his status. So he hid in the weeds until after Jesus' death, when he comes forward at that point and says, I'll take the body. I share that to encourage. Maybe some of you are here watching today and you're like, man, what can God do with me? Maybe you feel judged, condemned, outcast. Maybe you don't quite feel like, man, you're sold out or committed to God. And you're like, there's all this kind of doubt and self-doubt and people judging you. Or maybe you're a person who's judging others as not quite spiritual. I take great caution and comfort in this story of a man who hid and was afraid, but ultimately stepped forward in the right moment and changed human history. Powerful story. So I would just say, be cautious with your judgments of others and of yourself. Give yourself grace. You're human. Here's, my wife bought me a sign recently. It says, humankind, be both. So I love that. I need that. I'm always not kind to myself because I understand that I am human. So hopefully that encourages you in some capacity. If you want to know more about Joseph of Arimathea, connect with me. I can even share with you the book that I pulled that from. It's a fun book that I've read. I read it years ago and recently kind of pulled that off my shelf to kind of work through some of that. Okay, we'll wrap up. I've got to go. It's just after 12. I wanted to be done. I have a lunch meeting to get to. So here we go. Here's what we're going to wrap up. We'll wrap up, land the plane with a few more, you guessed it, dad jokes. Okay, first one. What wears a coat in winter and pants in the summer? You say, well, I do. Well, hope you're covering up. Coat in the winter, pants in the summer. A dog. Pants, it's hot. Anyway, okay. Talked to someone recently who says, I am reading a horror book in Braille. So sorry, I need to put my glasses on. I can't read this one. So you're like, literally, maybe I am reading it in Braille. They made this really small. I'm reading a horror book in Braille. It said something bad is going to happen. I feel it. Okay. Here's another one. The number 666. You ever heard that number? We're in the Halloween season. The number 666, many consider it to be an evil number. Well, if 666 is an evil number, then 25.8069758 is the root of all evil. That's the root number of 666. Anyway, okay. Should we end with one more? Actually, I got two more for it. We'll wrap up with two more. What's the difference between a clown and an athletic rabbit? One is a bit funny, and the other is a fit bunny. And the final one. I've shared this one before, but it's worth coming back to because it is good. Saw my neighbor the other day talking to her cat. I mean, just having a full-blown conversation. I'm thinking to myself, I don't know. Does she not know that the cat can't understand her? Got home. When I got home, I couldn't wait to talk to my dog about it. And we laughed a lot. Anyway, love you guys. Appreciate you. Talked about a lot of information there. Anything we can do for you, anything we can do to serve, anything you're facing, you're engaged with in life that's bigger than you, we'd love to journey with you, help connect you to resources. Or if you're someone who's out there saying, hey, Adam, we'd love to serve and walk alongside in a way of giving or donating or volunteering, we'd also love to talk with you. Enjoy your weekend. I'll put it up one more time. Go Dolphins, Sunday, 8:30. I know all you Eagles fans out there are like, no. I know it's going to be a good game. People have asked me, Adam, are you going to be at work on Monday? And I'm like, well, why do you ask? They said, well, you might need to take a mental health day after the Eagles beat the Dolphins. I'm like, I know. Actually, I'm going to be staying home celebrating their win. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll have some fun with it. Appreciate you guys. Love you. Hope you have a great weekend. Enjoy the game. If you are a football fan on Sunday night, go Miami and have a wonderful time until we touch base again.